Lies surround us every day, slipping into conversations so effortlessly that we hardly notice. Sorry, my phone died. I'm fine, really. These accusations are completely baseless. The company had no knowledge of any misconduct. I love you. From harmless white lies to grand deceptions, humans have spent centuries trying to uncover the truth, relying on everything from medieval torture to modern polygraphs, blood pressure monitors, voice stress analyzers, and even brain scans. But despite these advances, none of these methods are foolproof. Most can be manipulated, and not a single one is considered reliable enough to be used as solid legal evidence. But what if the issue isn't with our tools, but with the way we think about deception? Instead of looking for physical changes, what if we analyzed language itself? Human psychology tells us that lying isn't just about deceiving others. It's about creating a version of ourselves that aligns with who we wish we were rather than who we actually are. And while our conscious mind works hard to maintain this illusion, it leaves behind subtle traces. Our brains operate mostly on autopilot, with only about 5% of our cognitive function occurring in the realm of conscious awareness. That means the way we construct a lie is inherently different from the way we describe a real experience. Linguistic analysis has uncovered 4 patterns common in deceptive speech. First, liars tend to distance themselves from their own words. They avoid using personal pronouns, shifting the focus away from themselves. Compare the phrases, "There was absolutely no party at this house," versus "I didn't have a party here." The first version feels detached, as though the speaker doesn't want to place themselves inside the statement. Second, liars often sound more negative. Even if they're not caught, they may experience subconscious guilt, which bleeds into their language. Instead of simply saying, "My phone died," a liar might add unnecessary frustration. "Ugh, my stupid phone battery died. I hate that thing." Third, deception thrives in simplicity. The more elaborate the lie, the harder it is to maintain. Our brains prefer shortcuts, so when constructing a falsehood, we tend to use simple sentence structures and vague descriptions. Judgment and nuance require effort, so a liar may default to clear-cut statements, like a certain US president famously declaring, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." Yet, paradoxically, liars also tend to ramble. Even as they keep things simple, they overload their statements with extra details, inserting unnecessary explanations and convoluted phrasing to make the lie sound more convincing. Consider another presidential statement. "I can say, categorically, that this investigation indicates that no one on the White House staff, no one in this administration presently employed, was involved in this very bizarre incident." The long-winded nature of this claim suggests an effort to over-explain rather than to state something simply. These patterns emerge time and again when analyzing well-known public figures. Take Lance Armstrong, 7-time Tour de France winner, who spent years denying the use of performance-enhancing drugs. In a 2005 interview, he constructed his statements to shift the focus away from himself. "Okay, you know, a guy in a Parisian laboratory opens up your sample, you know, Jean-Francis so-and-so, and he tests it. And then you get a phone call from a newspaper that says, 'We found you to be positive 6 times for EPO.'" Notice how he describes a vague situation with someone else as the subject, rather than taking ownership of his words. Fast forward to his 2013 admission, and the shift is stark. "I lost myself in all of that. I'm sure there would be other people that couldn't handle it, but I certainly couldn't handle it, and I was used to controlling everything in my life. I controlled every outcome in my life." In contrast to his earlier deflection, his confession is rich with self-references and personal responsibility. The same pattern appears in the case of former U.S. Senator and presidential candidate John Edwards. When denying an affair, he chose words that distanced himself from the accusation. "I only know that the apparent father has said publicly that he is the father of the baby. I also have not been engaged in any activity of any description that requested, agreed to, or supported payments of any kind to the woman or to the apparent father of the baby." Rather than naming anyone directly, he refers to the woman and the apparent father, keeping his language vague and impersonal. Later, when admitting the truth, his words became much more direct. "I am Quinn's father. I will do everything in my power to provide her with the love and support she deserves." The shift is clear. He acknowledges his role and responsibility, using personal pronouns and straightforward language. So what does this mean in everyday life? Most of the lies we encounter aren't as dramatic as these public scandals. Many are harmless, woven into social interactions out of politeness or convenience. But paying attention to subtle linguistic clues can still be useful. When someone avoids using personal pronouns, adds unnecessary negativity, oversimplifies a story, or overloads their statements with unnecessary details, it might be worth a second glance. Whether it's spotting a misleading advertisement, avoiding a bad investment, or protecting yourself from deception in relationships, understanding the language of lies just might give you an edge in separating fiction from reality. If you want to get basic overview of anything, provide your thoughts and intentions in comment section. We will provide and serve you, and subscribe our channel to get more information in less time.